Temba, Aidan was just telling us about how he just popped over to the stand, had a beer with one of his school friends. I mean, judging by the number of South Africans here, I imagine a lot of you guys will know a lot of guys out in the stands. I mean, is that the case? And what does that say about having the final in a country where so many fans can attend, even in a neutral venue?
Yeah, it was massive. I mean, we could feel the energy coming from the fans. There were a lot of South Africans out there in the fans, people who've flown over from South Africa, people obviously who were also based here in London. I think I was giving about 10, 15 tickets a day to people. So we all kind of have either relatives or friends who are within the stands. I'm sure later on, depending on what state we are, we'll catch a beer with them. But it's been phenomenal. Playing a final here at Lord's, hearing songs that you're accustomed to back home in South Africa, and then for us to perform the way that we did. I also think if you're a sporting fan, if you're a cricketing fan, you've really gotten your money's worth with the type of cricket that was on show. Both teams it was kind of in favor of the one, then it went to the other. It was a proper entertainment, you know what I mean? The English, Ben Stokes, and the way they talk about entertainment. I don't think that was anything short of that.
Temba, Shukri said an interesting thing half an hour ago about your leadership. He said you're a very strong captain, but you lead from behind, off the field, and from in front, on the field. Does that describe your leadership style to you?
I'm not a person that speaks a lot. I'm not a person that speaks a lot. I try to lead on what I do on the field. So I think our biggest chat coming up against Australia in this game was conviction. Whatever we do, let's just do it with conviction. And at times I played maybe some indifferent shots, but that was me just trying to show conviction in whatever I did. And I'd like to think that rubbed off on certain guys within the team. But yeah, I think leading through a collective, identifying guys within the team, and allowing them to lead within the space, that's something I think that has allowed me to be a lot more successful as a batter. But yeah, not a big talker. More about action.
Talking of which, that's 6 off Cummins. Can you just have a word about that?
Yeah, I told Shukri not to write me off in the white ball stuff. I can still hit it. Kidding.
Temba, can you just take us inside your thinking during Australia's 10th wicket partnership yesterday? Was there a bit of frustration that you couldn't get them out, or could you see that hang on, it's getting a bit easier to bat out here?
A bit of both. Firstly, it was frustration. The bowlers were trying. Bowlers were also tired at that time. The wicket wasn't reacting as much. And I think, we were almost running out of ideas as to what we can do. Fortunately, we were able to get the wicket. But I think chatting to Ashwell, we kind of said, the wicket looks good to bat on. We kind of just need to knuckle down there, and that's exactly how it played. Quite surprising that it changed so quickly like that. First 2 days were tough for batting. But I think, when we saw that partnership, I think the guys who are experienced, you kind of take confidence in the fact that, if no disrespect, if Mitchell Starc can hang in for so long, then you kind of back yourself to do the same thing as well.
Temba, obviously this is all really fresh at the moment in experiencing this, but I mean, this has been such a focus for you, for the team, for South African cricket. And you look at the history and the heartbreak and everything that's built to this moment, and you've done it. So what happens now? Like, where do you want to see the story of this Test team go after so long just getting to this moment right now?
We've kind of said as a team that, and it was our chat in our camp that we had in Arundel, that we'd like to judge ourselves after 3-4 years as a group, really take stock there and see where we're at. It's a lovely thing that we have the Mace as part of that journey. But in terms of us leaving a legacy, we understand that we're not going to leave a legacy behind in 2 years. Yes, we've created history, But as a group, we'd like to emulate, if not do better than what Graham and his team did. So, I mean, they've set the standard. I don't think anyone has reached that standard as of yet. So in 3-4 years' time, as a group, 2027, I'd like us to be in a position where we've been able to go to Pakistan, we've been able to go to India, have victories there, and do a lot more. We've only had 2 years. We've generated a lot of success in that 2 years that we don't look past. But I think from a longevity point of view, to really get the respect out there as a test team, we'd like to see where we are within another 2 years.
Temba, from what you were saying just now, I think we can summarize it as you prefer for your bat to do the talking rather than you. But that kind of innings you played in, particularly in the second innings with the injury, in the match-winning partnership, supporting the guy who scored a lot of the runs. What do you think that kind of performance says about you as a person?
I'd like to think it gives a glimpse into I guess Temba the person, the character. For me, it's always about the team, doing what I think is best for the team, and also wanting to be the guy for the team. I think in times where there's pressure, where you can make a decision, where you're kind of giving another one the opportunity, it's easy to do that in pressure moments, but it takes a certain level of courage to be able to, look past what you are feeling physically, and still try find a way to get the job done. I think that's been the theme of us as a test team in our campaign, is that we found ways to get the result in our favor. We haven't exactly played perfect cricket, and I think even today, or even over the course of the last 3.5 days, we haven't exactly played perfect cricket, but we keep finding a way. That's something that I keep asking the guys, and that's something that I demand of myself as well. So if anything, I'd like it to speak to my character. I think resilience is obviously a big theme in my career. That little bit of grit and determination, but just finding a way, irrespective of what's happening around you.
But you touched on wanting to play a bit more white ball cricket, and also about winning more ICC trophies. You got the 50 over World Cup that you're co-hosting with Zimbabwe and Namibia in 2027. How big is that going to be for South Africa as a country to co-host that tournament in a couple of years' time and maybe build off the momentum of this win?
Yeah, I think it'll be massive. I mean, that tournament, we're definitely setting our sights on doing special things in that tournament. Still a way to go till then. Shukri obviously comes in now as the white ball coach, so we'll see what plans that he has, who his personnel will be. But yeah, hopefully this is the start of those trophies for the team. Before then, the guys go to the T20 stuff. So Aiden and his boys, we will be supporting them to follow suit. But that 2027, a lot of us, we wanna be there. We need to be fit to be there first. But I mean, I'll definitely be putting up my hand to be a part of that group.
Temba, you said you're not a man of many words, but your coach certainly is. It's a bit of a yin-yang relationship. Just he makes these left field decisions when he picks players. Do you ever differ with him, and how much trust must you have to actually say you're on the right path here, and we're gonna go with this?
Yeah, I think we differ all the time, and I think that's the beauty of the relationship, that we can put our thoughts. It's not a yes boss type of thing. I think what I appreciate about him is his conviction behind the decisions that he makes. There's always method to his madness, and credit to him. His decisions have come off. I mean, think of a guy like Vian Mulder to be sent in at 3. Second innings, Vian played an important innings there. And I mean, there's many decisions. Corbin Bosch coming into the game when we played against Pakistan in Supersport, and he played the way that he played. Sen Mutasami, who came in as well, Bangladesh, 4 for and 80 there. So, he's making the right calls at the moment. But it's the conviction. It's the conviction that allows us to back his decisions. But like you say, I think that level of trust is there. Shooks is a guy, plays tough, but actually quite soft at heart. If you catch him on a one-on-one, you can really get to the person behind that tough exterior. And he's there for a lot of us. He's been there for me. He's cared about me, the person. He's tried to offload a lot off my shoulders. And I mean, I think I can attribute a lot of that to my success with the bat.